Hi, everyone. Kat and Steph here with your Breathing is Life workshop, where we're going to be learning a little bit about the breath and how we can incorporate our breath to enhance all different aspects of our well-being. And so today we would like to start with a journaling prompt, and you can go ahead and pause the video and go ahead and do your journaling questions and answer your questions, and then come back to the video after so we can start with our breath work. So today our journaling activity is going to be about writing about your desires, your needs, your wants, and just getting a little bit more comfortable with writing and getting in tune with yourself and your intuition, primarily. Your heart. Your heart space is one of the best guides that you can tap into when you are journaling. So just take a second to put your hands in your heart and take a deep breath. And just ask your heart what it is that it wants, desires, needs. It could be your passions, anything that you would really like to welcome into your life. And, just take a second to feel, wait for a response. Your heart can respond in visuals, could also respond in sound, a voice in your head. There's many ways that our body communicates with us. So once you've heard some of this, and even if you don't hear anything, I'm sure you're still going to feel what it is that you want, or you've thought about this before. So go ahead and put some thoughts down and feelings on paper, and then come back to the video so we can get started on the breath work. Awesome. Thank you for taking the time to write down those desires and needs and passions you absolutely deserve to attain and resonate and attract all of those amazing things into your life. And so today we want to focus on breath work and see how our breath can support some of these needs, and our journey in acquiring some of these needs. So last workshop, we focused on using mindfulness practices to enhance our connection to ourselves and really shine the light of awareness to our entire being so that we can determine what aspects of our well-being need support. We primarily used observation through passive meditation and mindfulness, as well as some awareness exercises and some wave breaths to really anchor on our breath. We also went over some tips to create a healthy ecosystem in our body to ensure the longevity of our joints and our movement and our functionality, with joint rotation exercises and primal movement functional muscle activation, as well as some nutritional and water consumption tips. So if you haven't gotten the chance to take a look at our first workshop, which is called Knowledge is Power, we definitely recommend you going back and taking that workshop as well. Now, if you also remember, if you were in the workshop, Knowledge is Power, we also went over the different aspects of our well-being and how to identify imbalances in each, as well as things that we can incorporate in our lifestyle to support those aspects. So that includes our physical well-being, our spiritual well-being, our emotional well-being, our energetic well-being, and our mental well-being. Now, even though all of these aspects may seem separate and different, and in Western medicine and practices, we find that those are very disconnected. There is a common denominator between all of these, and that is energy, frequencies, and vibrations. So all of these things are interconnected. And when we tap into one and enhance one, the others are also enhanced. So that is definitely one thing that I really like to, I really like you to keep in mind as you are in your healing journey, is that everything comes down to energy, frequencies, and vibrations. So from a physical well-being, we have cellular energy. Cellular energy is your body using sunlight, food, oxygen, and using electrons and ions, action potentials, to move through things in and out of the cell. Basically, the cell works like a battery, and primarily our mitochondria is the one that's producing all of this energy and converting all these chemical inputs into energy and photons. So very much an energetic system. Emotionally, even the word says it, like emotion, this is energy emotion. This is how our body sends messages to us, to our brain. And this is how we learn to understand ourselves, what is right, what is wrong, our boundaries, right? These are all messages. And we also carry a lot of these emotions and energies through our lineage. So very energetic, our emotions, our energetic well-being. So that's also an aspect that we want to take into consideration. The pathways in which energy moves throughout our entire bodies. So how it flows through our meridian channels, right? And then that's what makes our biofield or our aura. So all of this energy moves through our fascia, which is primarily composed of collagen, our blood, and the circulation of our blood also creates electromagnetism. Our heart is an electromagnetic generator, right? And then that's how also our body is gathering information and transferring it and converting it into chemical messages for everything else to function. So the energetic well-being is super important, and harnessing the right energy and the right information is very important for all aspects of our well-being. And then also our mental well-being, super connected energetically to everything else in our body, right? If our physical body's not feeling well, then we're not going to feel well mentally. And, our thoughts are not going to be very positive. Our perceptions are not going to be positive, and that's going to create a lower vibration. And, our subconscious is always harnessing and gathering information from the past, traumas, and that is all energetic. Thoughts are vibrations, is what you're putting out into the universe, and it creates your reality. So, super important to take into consideration our mental health as an energetic component. And then also our spiritual well being. You're a light being, we're all light. And so, our connection to self, our connection to the entire universe, the cosmos, Mother Nature, is all dependent on all of these other aspects of our well being being healthy, right? So, this is the interconnection that I really want you to come out of this workshop, taking into consideration and thinking about. We are energy, and every aspect of our well being is energy, and it's going to be affected by the breath. Why? Because the breath is life. The breath is life force, intelligent life force energy from the universe that we are intaking and diffusing into our entire being. So that's how breath is life, right? So we're breathing to take in life force energy. So if you're familiar with the word pranayama, this is a Sanskrit word from the yogic tradition. And prana means life force, and yama means control. And ayama means expansion or cultivation. So pranayama is control and expansion of life force energy, and that is your breath. So really tapping into the breath is so important, and we're going to do that today. So for today, we will be practicing 4 different kinds of breath work, but your handout has a list of different breathing techniques that you can incorporate into your life that are for all different kinds of needs, like stress reduction, improving your mental health, enhancing your physical health, boosting concentration, cognitive function, creativity, emotional release, deepening meditation. There's a lot of different breathing techniques, and I don't want you to get overwhelmed by, this list that I provided of all the different types of breath work. We'll try 4, and then you'll have the ability to feel out, what feels best for you. You can do it in any combination, kind of like what we're doing today, or you can just choose one that you really liked, that really felt good to you. And just know and trust that even just one breath work technique is going to, like I said, enhance all the different aspects of your well-being. So even though one breath work may be under stress reduction, just know that inherently, if you do any type of breath work, there's going to be stress reduction from it, as well as emotional release, or as well as mental enhancement, creativity. What you're really doing is enhancing your entire being, like we discussed. So don't get caught up on what breath work you're choosing. You're really just being curious about what the breath can do for you and how it can support your needs, your wants, your passions, and your journey to achieve those, right? And so one of those things that we really need to take into consideration for achieving any goal, whether it's, getting healthier, having more emotional control, feeling, courageous enough to leave one career and start another, starting a new business, whatever it is, it requires some sort of discipline and some sort of awareness on how we can go about um, getting rid of our limitations. And so today we're gonna go ahead and practice something called square breathing, also known as box breathing, and it's an inhalation of an equal inhalation. We're gonna do a count of 4. So inhale, count of 4, hold, count of 4, exhale, count of 4, hold, count of 4. Okay. And then this practice is really useful for reducing anxiety and also helping you focus. I personally love to use this, and this was the first type of breath that I ever used. And that's because I had a lot of mind chattering when I was meditating. So if you tend to have a lot of thoughts when you're meditating, when you're doing breath work, it's a great way to keep your mind busy and focused while you're also incorporating the breath. So it's a great beginner breath that you can incorporate into your life, and you can do 10 breaths and you'll definitely feel a great difference. Another breath that you can do, which I love to incorporate also into my practice and well-being, is the alternative nostril breathing. This is where you breathe in and out just through one nostril. You block the other one, or you block and you block the opposite and you breathe in and out. Then after that, you breathe in through one nostril, out through the other, in through one nostril and out through the other. And then that's one breath. So an example would be, now, alternate nostril breathing is great to start your day with. It enhances focus. And it also helps you with digestion and emotional healing. It improves mental health. It reduces anxiety. It enhances your mood. And it also balances your left and right hemisphere of the brain. So it creates a gathering of both sides so that you could be centered in your masculine and your feminine energy. So it's a beautiful breath. You can also take a pause in between. So inhaling, holding, and exhaling. Inhaling, holding, and exhaling. So you'll definitely need some tissues for this practice. I highly recommend that you continue to use this, especially when you're like super worked up and you're busy and it's just a lot overwhelmed. And then you have to stop and focus, like do a meeting or do something that takes a lot of focus and requires you to calm yourself down. Like, you know, working all day and then sitting down to eat lunch, or the opposite, eating lunch and then needing to go and get moving. So an alternate breathing practice right in between can set you up so that you send some energy to your digestion, you calm the nervous system, and then you can get started on whatever it is that you need to do. So I highly recommend this kind of breath work. It's wonderful. Another type of breath, and we're actually going to practice this one as well. It's called the bee breath or Brahmari pranayama. And so this is tapping into us using our own frequency to calm ourselves down and activate our parasympathetic nervous system. Now, if you've never heard of this word, we have two types of nervous systems, components of our nervous system. So one component is your fight and flight. You're running away, you're about to fight, you're about to run away, a tiger's coming to attack you, a car's coming your way, all the adrenaline kicks in, you're ready to run, all the blood goes out to your extremities. There isn't a lot of time to focus on digestion, healing, none of that stuff. Rest, none of that. We are going, like fight or flight. Then the other component is the opposite. This is us being in a restful, calm state where our body can focus on bodily functions that are part of recovery, rest, sleep, deep breathing, healing, digestion. So this is your parasympathetic nervous system. This is your rest and digest. In order to tap into that, we basically need to be out of danger. We need to be in a calm, comfortable space. Unfortunately, because of the types of lives that we live, our nervous system isn't really able to distinguish between being late for work and that being like a threat, like a fight or flight. So we enter this fight or flight, even when we don't need to run away or fight, we enter this state being late for work, being in a job interview, having a small disagreement with someone, sometimes to the point where we stay in that sympathetic state and we never get out of it. Now, trauma will also do this to us. And unfortunately, we won't be able to tell that we're not in parasympathetic. We actually stay in sympathetic, and that's like hitting the gas pedal in a car and it going full on, living on adrenaline, high stress, high cortisol. And because we don't know the difference between sympathetic and parasympathetic, there's two different components, we're not able to tell. And so this is where burnout, comes our way. We have work, we have kids, we have all of these things in our lives that are not necessarily threats, to our life, but our nervous system doesn't know. And so we basically are not healing well, we're not digesting well, and we're also not recovering properly, and we're not breathing properly. So in our sympathetic nervous system and fight or flight, we're breathing super shallow, right? Or like really need that breath and oxygen fast. In our parasympathetic, we're really tapping into diaphragmatic breathing. Your diaphragm is that muscle that sits at the base of your rib cage, and that's going to expand and breathe into that. And then exhale using our entire lung capacity, and the breaths are going to be slow. And this is what's going to help us rejuvenate, recover, and heal properly. So, the breath is a great way for us to tap into our parasympathetic nervous system and get out of that fight or flight mode, that really high stress burnout state. Another way is through humming. So that's where this bee breath comes in. We're not only just tapping into the breath, but now we're tapping into vibration, the vibration that we generate ourselves through our voice. So it would be something like this. Cool. So you'll see if you look it up on YouTube, there's different ways of practicing this breath. You can close, your ears over here and then really isolate the sound and feel more of the vibration. You can also close here, your eyes, and the different parts of your nostrils. You'll see some practitioners closing everything, and that really helps focus that vibration inward. We're just going to practice it like normal without using our hands, but you're welcome to incorporate that if you'd like to use the bee breath. And humming is wonderful because we are using this vibration to activate a nerve called the vagus nerve, which starts at the jaw, goes down the throat, and comes all the way down the middle of our body and meets right at the point of our solar plexus, right here, right? And that nerve is responsible for sending messages between our gut, our microbiome, and our brain. And it's just a wonderful tool to know that your vibration that you can generate with your voice can stimulate that nerve and can put you in parasympathetic nervous system. So you'll be able to feel that today. The last breathwork technique that I want to talk about is the Wim Hof Method. And I've been able to personally use this method for a long time, actually since 2016. I have been practicing the Wim Hof Method, and it's been instrumental in my healing from Lyme disease in particular. And the reason why I really love this type of breath is because there's a lot of different types of breath work that are focusing on the parasympathetic, trying to focus on bringing the body back to this relaxed state, because we're always in a heightened, stressful state, at least how it is in our society right now. most people are stressed out and they need to relax. The Wim Hof Method uses breathwork techniques, and it's a very quick breathing, and you're actually breathing in and out of your mouth. Now, when you breathe through your nose, that activates the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest, that relaxes you. When you breathe in through your mouth, when you think of like you're running, right? You're doing a lot of mouth breathing. And the Wim Hof method does that. We're doing a lot of mouth breathing. But the reason why we're doing that is because we are on purposely tapping into the sympathetic nervous system. So this would be like poking the beast, right? We're really trying to get to that place, but practice maintaining a calm mind and a meditative state. So it's helping us practice being in sympathetic, but also being under control. Now, what that does is create kind of like exercise, stress that we can slowly adapt and create more resiliency with. So the Wim Hof method is going to train us to have more of a capability to be in stressful situations and be calm and be comfortable, right? So practicing being uncomfortable eventually helps you be more comfortable in an uncomfortable situation. And so that's what the Wim Hof method does, along with a lot of other things like suppressing bacterial growth and viral growth. There's a lot of studies of Wim Hof being injected with E. coli and then doing his breathwork technique. And then that E. coli just dies. And then he trains other students to do the same thing. So the breath can really help you improve your immune system, this particular method, and he combines it with cold exposure and meditation. So cold exposure is also another stressor that is going to create a lot more resiliency in your body. And the breath work in particular has some retentions. So an exhale retention, when you're doing your breath, usually we start with 30 sets of breaths. So 30 times. On the exhale, on the last breath, we hold it. And we stay there as long as we can. And then when we inhale, we hold it. And we stay there as long as we can. And so these retentions, the more sets you do, the longer they get. And you will surprise yourself with the fact that it'll be a point where you are in a beautiful meditative state and you don't need to breathe. And it's so weird because your whole life you hold your breath for a little bit, and 30 seconds, and then you're like, oh my God, I need to breathe. Like it's such a need, right? And then it almost makes you panic if you hold it, for too long, and your body's gonna pass out. But when you're doing this diaphragmatic breathing, strong, taking these deep breaths, the oxygen levels are gonna go up and the carbon dioxide levels are gonna go down. So what this does is the urge to breathe actually disappears because the amount of carbon dioxide that is in your blood, that is in your body, is what determines your urge to breathe. So you're going to need to take less breaths. And interestingly enough, when I started practicing the Wim Hof method, some personal information, I was born snoring and I snored all my life up until I was 26 years old, and I started doing the Wim Hof method, and I stopped snoring. And that was amazing, you know? But it also It helped me manage my pain, and it helped improve my immune system so that I could fight Lyme disease, which is an infection. So the benefits from the Wim Hof method, I've experienced myself. They're beautiful. A lot of my yoga classes, if you've been one of my students, you've practiced the Wim Hof method. We only usually do 30 sets, unless we're in a retreat or workshop where we do like 3 sets. So if you're looking to enhance your physical performance, your physical resilience, and your mental resilience to being in discomfort, this is a great technique, as well as anyone that's suffering from a lot of pain and serious illness. Because the more oxygen you have in your body, the more energy you'll have, and um, also it's very empowering to know and to feel um, what the Wim Hof method feels like when you're doing this practice. Mm. Personally, when I had Lyme disease, I was depressed, right? Like, why do I have to get this? And when I started tapping into my breath, I felt very empowered by it, and it gave me hope, and it gave me tools, to heal myself and not have to depend on others to give me solutions. It was the beginning of my self-healing journey. So there's a lot of different types of breath that you can tap into depending on your needs, depending on how you feel. And these are just some of the breath work techniques that I incorporate into my life that I like to teach. But there's a big list in your handout. And I urge you, and actually, we do have homework. And so that homework is from your journaling activity, where you wrote all of your desires and wants and needs. I want you to, right next to each, write down some limitations, resistance, or yeah, anything that's getting in the way of you accomplishing those things. So really think about or feel out what it is that is stopping you from getting these things. And then start to incorporate one of these breathwork techniques at least 3 times a week so that you can, tap into the breath, tap into consistency, and empower yourself to move through some of these limitations. And journal your experience too, right after your breath work. See how you feel, and continue um, with this practice. See if you can incorporate it and do it more often, even daily. It'll be extremely beneficial for you. So let's go ahead and get started with our actual breathwork practice. We're going to spend 5 minutes just sitting in awareness. This is called mindful breathing, where we're not changing anything about our breath. We're just observing. We're just going to focus on seeing what comes up. This tends to be a little bit more difficult for people because you're just sitting in awareness, and as things come up, we want to judge them. We want to say, I'm doing this wrong. I feel this too much. My chest is tight. I'm not breathing right. Let go of all of those things and accept what's coming in. Observe the emotions, observe the thoughts, observe the behavior, but primarily anchor your awareness on your breath and just focus on the inflow and outflow of the breath. So that's all we're doing. We're sitting in observation for 5 minutes, noticing the depth, the length, the sensations, the expansion, the contraction, any tightness, the location of where your breath goes, the temperature of your body, just all of these qualities of your breath, and without judgment, just full compassion for yourself. So we'll do that for 5 minutes. And then we'll tap into 5 minutes of wave breathing. Wave breathing, I haven't talked about it yet, but it's personally my favorite breathwork technique. I practice it every day. I absolutely love it. It's in every single practice, every single yoga class that I teach. And I really love this breathwork technique because it teaches you how to direct your attention to a particular body part and breathe into it. So it helps you direct your breath to specific body parts. Now, if you've practiced breath work before or you've done yoga, you know you can breathe into different body parts. Like I can sit here and breathe into my knee. But if you've never heard of that before, if you've never done breath, you don't realize that the breath, you think that the breath is just only going to stay in your lungs, is only going to be here and that's it. But no, breath is life force energy. It diffuses throughout the body. Okay, so you can breathe. I always say in my classes, wherever your mind goes, that's where the breath flows. Wherever your attention goes, that's where the breath goes. So wave breathing is amazing at showing you that you can do that because you will feel your breath wherever you focus on. So in wave breathing, we focus on the 3 different parts of our torso: our lower abdomen, our middle abdomen, our rib cage, and this is all 360 degrees. So lower abdomen, lower back, rib cage, middle back, chest, upper back. And yeah, we divide these 3 into sections and breathe into the first one and hold the breath. And then breathe a little bit more and hold the breath. And then breathe a little bit more and hold the breath at the top. Now, these 3 sections, there's also 3 locks in the body. They are called your bandhas, your locks, or your diaphragms. There's actually 3 diaphragms in the body. One is at the pelvic floor. This is called your mula bandha, and it's in your perineum. So that is right at the bottom of the pelvic floor, and squeezing that up is going to lock energy in that section. The second diaphragm is probably the one that you're the most familiar with, and that's your diaphragm. So that sits right below the rib cage. If you feel the 2 points in your rib cage, right here, the diaphragm sits right here like a little bowl, and it moves up and down with your breath, just like that. So when you activate this diaphragm, you would activate it and pull it up. All right, so that is your Uddiyana Bandha. And then your last bandha is your Jalandhara Bandha. And that is on your throat. So to lock that, you would swallow saliva and feel the tightness that comes right after that. So I would usually cue it as swallow your breath, but you're really swallowing and locking the throat chakra, the bandha. That's your 3rd diaphragm. Okay. And then after that, after our wave breaths, 5 minutes of that, we'll tap into our square breaths. That'll be an inhale of 4, hold 4, exhale 4, and hold for 4. Okay? And that's going to be a lot of talking on my end, just counting for you. But when you're practicing it on your own, counting is probably going to be a little bit more pleasant than me just sitting and counting for you. Really try this type of breath work if you're a beginner. It's really wonderful at helping you create a breathwork practice and just get you introduced to meditation, mindfulness, and breath because your mind is busy counting. these squares. Okay, and we'll do that for 10 breaths. And then the last 5 minutes, we'll focus on our humming breaths. So we will inhale and exhale with a hum. Okay, so let's get started. So find a quiet place, nice and comfortable. Feel free to put a cushion underneath your sit bones. You can sit cross-legged. You can sit on a chair. Whatever makes you feel comfortable. Just work on keeping the chest upright, the neck and the head over the hips, the rib cage a little bit in front of the hips, not fully sitting in the back space, but opening the heart, relaxing the shoulders. Place your hands on your knees. They can face down or they can face up. And close your eyes here. Start to bring your awareness inside. Bringing your awareness to the qualities of your breath. What is the breath doing? Don't change it. Just observe. Center your attention here. The expansion and the contraction of each exhale. Each breath changing your body and allowing you to connect a little deeper, relax a little more, and allow you to feel more at ease. Focus on the sensations of the body. And stay sitting in the witness seat of your being through observation, noticing any feelings, any thoughts, any emotions that arise. And instead of judging them, choosing to like them or dislike them, fearing that they're wrong, or thinking that they're right, just allow. Allow and accept, just like the breath flowing in and out. Accept the flow of feelings in and out. Accept the flow of emotions in and out. Thoughts. And just assert to yourself that whatever it is that is coming in, that you're safe, that is perfect. And just approach it with compassion and curiosity. Learning something new and discovering new parts of you through observation. Notice any areas of the body that are calling out to you through strong sensations, such as discomfort, tension, pain. Notice any sensations of stuckness or stagnation. And again, compassionately observing with curiosity and calm energy. without judging. Even though this might be a challenging exercise, this is how we can intentionally be involved in the healing process. Your body's always healing, always coming back to balance. By being extremely conscious and developing our awareness, paying attention to those messages of sensation, thoughts, and emotions. And really trusting that we know, our body knows, trusting our inner knowing and our inner guidance. This is how we can develop that connection to self, to our bodies, and start to get out of the way of the healing process. We're going to begin our wave breathing here in a few seconds. Let's go ahead and exhale together out of the nose. Now inhale through the nose just a little bit into the lower abdomen and hold it. Inhale a little bit more breath into the rib cage and hold it. Inhale into the chest. Hold. Now squeeze the pelvic floor, the diaphragm, pull it upwards, and then swallow your breath. Closing the locks, activate the locks. Hold that tension, and then sigh it out. Again, in through the nose, into the belly, hold. Inhale into the rib cage, hold. Inhale into the chest, hold. Squeeze the pelvic floor. Pull the diaphragm upwards. Swallow your breath, locking the throat. Activate those 3 locks. Create tension, cultivate that energy, and then sigh it out. Again, inhale to the lower abdomen, lower back. Hold. Rib cage, middle back. Hold. Chest, upper back. Hold. Lock the bandhas. Pelvic floor up. Diaphragm up. Swallow and lock the throat. Hold on to that energy and then sigh it out. Again, inhale belly. Hold. Inhale rib cage. Hold. Inhale chest. Hold. Lock the pelvic floor, the diaphragm, the throat. Cultivate that energy, that prana, life force energy, and sigh it out. Again, inhale belly, ribs, chest. Activate the bandhas. Pull the pelvic floor up, diaphragm. Lock the throat. Hold. And sigh it out. 2 more. Inhale, belly. Hold. Inhale, rib cage. Hold. Inhale, chest. Hold. Squeeze. Pelvic floor. Diaphragm. Throat. Activate those locks. Lock that energy in. And sigh it out. Last one. Inhale, belly and lower back. Inhale, rib cage, middle back. Inhale, chest. Activate your Mula Bandha, your Uddiyana Bandha, and your Jalandhara Bandha. Lock that energy in and sigh it out. Now come back to your normal breath and just observe. Notice the body. Notice the qualities of your breath. Notice your energy. Notice the mind. Your emotional state. Again, just observing compassionately and curiously. So we're going to go ahead and move on to our square breathing. Exhale. And inhale for a count of 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 3, 2, 1. Exhale. 3, 2, 1. Hold. 3, 2, 1. Inhale. 3, 2, 1. Hold. 3, 2, 1. Exhale. 3, 2, 1. Hold. 3, 2, 1. Inhale. 3, 2, 1. Hold. 3, 2, 1. Exhale. 3, 2, 1. Hold. 3, 2, 1. Inhale. 3, 2, 1. Hold. 3, 2, 1. Exhale. 3, 2, 1. Hold. 3, 2, 1. Inhale. 3, 2, 1. Hold. 3, 2, 1. Exhale. 3, 2, 1. Hold. 3, 2, 1. Inhale. 3, 2, 1. Hold. 3, 2, 1. Exhale. 3, 2, 1. Hold. 3, 2, 1. Inhale. 3, 2, 1. Hold. 3, 2, 1. Exhale. 3, 2, 1. Hold. 3, 2, 1. Inhale. 3, 2, 1. Hold. 3, 2, 1. Exhale. 3, 2, 1. Hold. 3, 2, 1. Inhale. 3, 2, 1. Hold. 3, 2, 1. Exhale. 3, 2, 1. Hold. 3, 2, 1. Inhale. 3, 2, 1. Hold. 3, 2, 1. Exhale. 3, 2, 1. Hold. 3, 2, 1. Inhale. 3, 2, 1. Hold. 3, 2, 1. Exhale. 3, 2, 1. Hold. 3, 2, 1. Come back to your normal breath. In and out of the nose. Again, taking a moment to observe, feel, and enjoy benefits of the breath, the focus. What is the qualities of the breath? Any subtle changes in the body, in the mind, and your energy. Now we will finish our practice with our humming breaths. Let's exhale together. Inhale. 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 Back to your normal breath. Observe your state of being. And both hands to your heart. Second to tap in to the heartbeat. Anchor yourself in this inner peace, self-love. Fill yourself with gratitude for your focus and dedication to your well-being. Fill yourself with gratitude for your love and compassion, your resilience, your grace, your effort, your failures, and all the growth. Palms together, heart center. Bow to yourself with compassionate, loving energy. Bow to the knowledge, the universal life force energy that we just gathered within ourselves to enhance, energize, revitalize our entire being so that we can have the strength, the power to move through those obstacles and get what we need, what we deserve, what we want, and what we desire most. Thank you so much for joining me for this Breathing is Life workshop. I love you. I'm Steph. Namaste.